Welcome back for the first time in a long time to the Double Doink Dynasty podcast, presented by two of your PEDs and Mattoon. What's happening, guys?
Just living.
Not a lot.
That's nice. Good talk. Um, we are going to go through two rounds of our league specific rookie mock draft. We'll talk about who has what picks at this point. I assume some of these will be traded by tomorrow by the time some of these picks happen. But for the time being, we'll talk about who has what picks, what they need, go through two rounds, and then we'll see how absolutely horrible we are at predicting this come a couple days from now. So, with that being said, Tyler, myself, currently has the 101. I think we can all just agree we're going to put Marvin Harrison at 1.
I think that's probably fair.
If by chance I trade back, it would be to the 2, and I would get Malik Neighbors. And if I don't trade back to the 2, Andy, you have picked 2. Malik Neighbors goes at 2.
Probably
Yes?
taking Neighbors. Yep. Really wish that he had gone to the Chargers.
It would have been a lot nicer. This is why you didn't want to trade with me way back when, because you wanted to see him go to the Chargers.
I didn't know who was going where. The Patriots could have taken Marv, and that would have been awful.
All right. So pick 3, I assume that we are going to have Paul take Rome, right? Brian Thomas with Jacksonville doesn't jump Rome's talent
think
at this point.
Bowers might have been an option for him if he hadn't gone to Vegas. That's kind of a bummer. I think he might have considered it, but as it is, Paul's got Mayer. He doesn't want to double up on Vegas tight ends. It's already going to be a problem for him. So I think Rome is the safe choice.
Rome may be a couple-year play. Paul's got like 7 young wide receivers as it is.
Rome's got that chemistry with Caleb, though. I mean, you know these guys come out, they get that bond, and that matters right away. That's kind of what Tank Dell had last year. Obviously, completely different player, but Stroud was pushing the team to draft him, and lo and behold, one of his favorite receivers. So maybe he comes on faster than we think.
Yep. After that, we have Boyer Bagwell combo that traded up to the 104. They got rid of AJ Brown. They now have the 104. And
need a receiver to replace AJ Brown.
And this receiver could be AJ Brown, or he could just be a middle of the pack type wide receiver.
Could be anything. Could even be a boat. You know how much we wanted one of those.
That's right.
Yeah. I think it's got to be Brian Thomas here.
I like the landing spot in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree. I think Worthy's an interesting pick, and if they didn't have Rashee Rice, maybe that feels a little bit more of an option. But I don't think you want 2 Kansas City receivers, no matter how fast they both go, on your roster. So I'm with you on the Brian Thomas.
Yep. All right. So here's where we start to see a little bit more of the draft happen. Burns is on the clock at 105. I know Burns has been looking at running back. He's got Breece Hall and Tony Pollard. He's got CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, Devonta Smith. Outside of his top 2 running backs, outside of his top 2 running backs with Breece and Pollard, which Pollard wasn't great. He's got David Montgomery, not great. AJ Dillon, Leonard Fournette, Trey Sermon. So essentially a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, he needs it back. He's got to take the Panthers guy.
He's got to take Jonathan Brooks here because he got drafted where he did, right?
That's the Panthers guy.
Yep.
This is how prepared I am, guys.
Yep.
I agree.
You're on board with
I think that's where he's got to go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Personally, I hate the fact that Brooks is going at the 105. But I think with team setup and landing spots of this draft, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, he's the best
He-
back. He
yeah,
got in a decent spot.
he's got several decent tight ends, and so I feel like taking Bowers would be a waste.
He's got Schoonmaker, Chig, and then Dallas Goddard. So he has one playable tight end.
I thought he had
Jig.
Schultz.
Oh, my bad. I moved on to Andrew already. My bad. I was looking at the wrong team.
I'm like, Burns has got like Schultz, Komet, and Ferguson.
Speaking of that
And
guy that might need a tight end.
yeah, yeah, we just figured that out real quick.
um, so Andrew last year took Bijan and Gibbs. He's got Trevor Lawrence. He's got Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. He traded for. He's got Zay Flower, Hollywood Brown, Jamison Williams, Chris Godwin. So he's got AJ Brown, Jamar Chase will carry him. That wide receiver 3 flex spot is okay with Flowers and Hollywood Brown. So he could take, granted, Xavier Worthy, another issue, right? He doubles up Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. He could drop down, take Lad McConkey. He could drop down, take Keon Coleman, which went to Buffalo. Troy Franklin to Denver. Xavier Legette went to Carolina. Ricky Pearsall to the Niners. I don't.
It's got to be Bowers. Yeah, he's thin at tight end.
He's
I don't-
thin at running. He's thin at running back too. He could take Trey Benson.
I was gonna say I think he goes either Bowers or Benson.
Yeah, I think Bowers is a pretty solidly better prospect wise, and I mean, obviously, after Gibbs and Bijan, he's thin at running back, but he's got Gibbs and Bijan. So locking in a starting tight end for every week versus a flex by week running back cover, especially when the tight end's better. I think this is, I feel pretty good about this being a Brock Bowers pick.
Yeah, he's got 2 firsts next year as well, so he could easily move those for a running back at some point if needed.
Yeah, that might happen.
So throwing Brock Bowers at 106, I still think it could very well be Trey Benson. It wouldn't shock me, but we'll go Bowers. So then we get Jerfry, Hoodie Prime / Hoodie Prime, Boyer / Bagwell, and then Jerfry for another 2.
So really what this is Jerfry guessing which player Boyer wants.
Taking that first.
Exactly.
And then taking his players after that.
Yep.
Yep.
So Boyer has Herbert and then Gardner Minshew. I don't think Boyer's going quarterback here. I think Trey Benson would be a play for Boyer at this point, seeing as he's got Raheem Mostert, Zach Moss, Austin Eckler. Like he's got running backs, but they're all a little bit older. They're not great. So if Jerfry wanted to lock in a running back here, I think that wouldn't be a bad decision at the 107 to lock in Trey Benson. And then they get their choice of quarterback and wide receiver at 9 and 10 after Boyer takes whatever wide receiver he feels like is best suited next.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Mattoon?
Yeah, I like Benson here in terms of getting a guy who's got a very clear route to be a stud in a role in an offense. However, playing the dynasty game with Jerfry's team, I think wide receivers is the smarter thing to do. But knowing that they're coming back in 2 picks makes me say grab the running back and then just load up on wide receivers.
Yeah, let's say in these 3 picks they want to get a receiver, a running back, and a quarterback. I think if they're eyeing Xavier Worthy and Caleb Williams, Boyer's less likely to take those 2 guys than Benson.
They don't have wide receivers. So if they're going to rebuild the right way, Xavier Worthy and then next best
Worthy
wide
and Mitchell
receiver,
or McConkey.
right?
Yep.
I think that that's the best bet. So,
Sure.
but do they just let Trey Benson go? I don't know. Because they
Yeah.
are looking at moving James Cook, which will free up I, that it'll hurt their running back room more.
Yeah. But
So
I don't think that they're playing for this year. And if you take a guy like Benson and,
it doesn't
spend
make
another
sense for
two
their build.
years getting back to, being competitive, then you're wasting half of that guy's fantasy career.
Yep.
I
So
also am aware that Jeremy is not a big Caleb Williams fan. So, unless they feel real good about McCarthy or May or Daniels, they might wait till the 208 to deal with their quarterback situation. Who knows?
so do we want to give them Worthy here at the 7 then? Go wide receivers. Let them build through wide receiver, and then next year try to figure out where to go with running backs.
They
Yeah,
have 7, 9, 10, right?
7,
7.
9, and 10.
yeah, 7, 9, 10, and Boyer's the 8. I don't think Boyer would take Worthy because they've got Rashee Rice, but I could be wrong. So
I think
that's more, you know, trying to play the mind games here. I think Worthy's the best player on the board.
Yeah, I think to your point, you're trying to play this strategy, and I think you're going Benson here just to shore up a running back, and then going see what happens in the next pick and taking the 2 out of the next 3 after that.
I'm not mad about that.
That's
And if Trey Benson comes out and is hot, they could trade it for a first plus.
Yep.
So I'm not mad about that. So let's go Trey Benson. Then we're gonna move on to Boyer and Bagwell, which we talked about. They needed wide receiver. They covered that kind of with Brian Thomas earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They still need running back, but they're not taking a running back here. They have Minshew and they have Herbert. Do they take a quarterback here? Do they just go best available wide receiver to finish filling out that Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice, Nico Collins wide receiver room?
I think having Herbert makes this not a quarterback spot. Like if they wanted to grab, Penix or Nix or somebody in with the 209
Yep.
just to get a depth piece for the future, go for it. But I don't think that they need to invest heavily in the quarterback having Justin Herbert. He's young, he's a stud. Hopefully the new offense doesn't hurt his numbers too much, but who knows?
My only problem is they have no first the next 2 years right now. So grabbing a quarterback like that might help, and then they traded Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Or
I will
Justin Herbert
say it's not
coming off the surgery.
yeah.
But
It,
I'm with you. I think they draft a wide receiver.
I do too. They need it.
I
And if
think
I'm them personally, because I have Rice, I don't want to double up that. I think I'm going Lad McConkey.
I was gonna say McConkey too. I
Pair
like
up
the
with
stack
Herbert.
with Herbert.
I was between him and maybe Keon Coleman for them just because he's in Buffalo. But
Yeah.
I like Lad, so we can go there. All right, so then we end up back with Jer Fry for the next 2.
And I think now you got your wish of Worthy and Williams.
Yeah, I think if it were
I think
my
that's-
team, Worthy and Williams is what I'm looking for. I don't know that they would pull the trigger on Caleb Williams, just based on conversations I've had with Jeremy. But
Yeah.
they've got Cousins, they've got Mayfield, they've got Anthony Richardson. They've got quote unquote options. I'm not saying they're the best options, but they have them.
sure.
They are taking Worthy here at 9, right? That easy pick there.
I agree.
I don't know. I think they still might take a quarterback.
Jeremy is also Indy based and was a big Michael Pittman fan. I know that they've moved on from Michael Pittman, but maybe maybe they go that direction and take Mitchell.
Yeah, I could see him almost. I mean, I'm not a huge Keon Coleman fan, but seeing as he went early to Buffalo,
Yeah.
That could very well be a solid pickup as well. Adonai Mitchell falling in the NFL draft makes me a little bit more nervous to say draft him here.
Sure.
Um,
I
who
think
they
it's
go, who they go with, I think it's got to be, if they're going wide receiver, I think it's got to be Coleman. You could say Franklin, but I don't like that. Xavier Legette or Ricky Pearsall would be next in my book because they were first round picks.
I was gonna say
Legette's a number one wide receiver out there right now, probably, maybe the number two. Pearsall got buried.
Yeah.
So I think
Any argument for Jaden Daniels? As a running quarterback, fantasy numbers going to be there.
I
think
think
Caleb.
that they've got Anthony Richardson already. I think that if you're going to take a
Fair.
quarterback, you take Caleb Williams, you take the quote unquote safer play instead of going
And
all
I like them taking Caleb because they traded for Fields, which we'll see what that ends up. Anthony Richardson can't stay on the field, so they're leaving their future to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And
They've got a type. They like the running quarterback.
yeah. So I think you take what is supposedly the best prospect the NFL has seen in so many years at the quarterback position and just roll with it and feel confident that you got him with your third pick of the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that definitely makes you feel better about it. It's not like you're investing your one first round pick. You've got 3 shots at this to
Yep.
fluff up your team, and even if you miss on one, you got the other guys.
So take Williams here.
That's what I think makes the most sense.
Yep. All right.
I don't know if they'll do that, but that's what I think makes sense.
I am with you on that. So then we hit Colin Kelly's team. He's got some older players. He's got Henry. He's got Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. His running backs. He does still have Travis Etienne. He's still got Ramondre Stevenson. His tight end room is fine with Kittle and Kincaid. Quarterbacks are Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Matt Stafford. If Caleb Williams falls past the 10, I think 100% Kelly takes Williams at 11.
As he should.
But I could see Jaden Daniels being a possibility here at 11.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean,
Matt Stafford's his one quarterback outside of Russ.
Right. I think he could use some youth at receiver, but I think quarterback is a far bigger priority. His receivers, Cooper and Keenan Allen, they're still going to contribute this year. Stafford will probably be fine, but I think Daniels is an upgrade even in his first year, and obviously gets you a lot for the future too.
Yeah, I can definitely see Kelly being someone to seeing how this board falls and maybe even trying to move up a spot just to grab Caleb if he feels like he's within reach. I actually like Kelly here though to take a wide receiver. He's got Debo, Keenan Allen, and Amari Cooper. So
he's got Olave as well.
Well, but I was gonna say as 3 very, very old, but older wide receivers. But he likes having the youth of Olave, the youth of ETN. So I could see him adding one more staple in a wide receiver heavy draft and still I'm gonna call Keon Coleman a first round pick, even though technically he was what 201. The Bills did that strategically.
Yep. And the Panthers did it strategically too, because they moved up to the first round and got the 5th round option or 5th year option with Xavier Legette.
Yep.
I don't know. I think he goes quarterback. I could see him going wide receiver because those are his 4 wide receivers. He doesn't have anything else on his bench.
Yep.
But
another, like, not that we're mocking this, but Colin's got his 111 and then he's got the 411 and the 511, and he currently has 0 players on his taxi. He could trade back here to get some more picks.
Yeah. Which I think would potentially be a smart move as well.
Paul's got 4 second rounders. Grab 2 of Paul's second rounders for this.
I think that would make a lot of sense for both of these guys.
So we're not going to mock trades, but
I look into it, fellas.
I would lean Paul. I would lean Kelly taking a quarterback here. That's me.
His team needs it, so.
Give him Daniels. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It might not happen, but I'm in the business of doing what makes sense.
Yep.
So then I'm up next at the 12.
Tight end.
I always take tight end.
Truth.
So what do you guys like me doing here at 12?
Well, you seem to like Keon Coleman quite a bit. He keeps
Yeah.
coming up.
The last thing your team needs is wide receivers right now, but I
You
don't
just
think,
won the championship and added Marvin Harrison Jr. to it. I think you can take best available here
I think you
and
take
then
best available.
re-tinker later.
Yeah, I think you're taking Coleman, and then you're coming back at the what 202. Ty, is that what you got?
Yep.
And then you're probably taking best available as well, and you're going to use that. Do I expect you to take both of those picks? No, I actually could see this being a situation where you move around.
All right, I'll give myself Keon Coleman here for the sake of you guys thinking I like him because I've mentioned his name.
All right.
So then we go to 201. But before we go to 201 with Burns, we're halfway through this draft, and I need to know. Pow! Andy, I know you're drinking something. Colin, you're at a hotel, so I don't know what you're doing.
It's just a Sam Adams Boston Lager. Nothing fancy, but it's tasty.
Nice. I met Ryan and Steve up at Moore Brewing in the north suburbs about a
Nice.
month or so ago, and I got away from the norm an American Amber Ale.
How's that?
That's not bad. I had this and a red, and they're both good.
Nice.
So,
I was at the Amador in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I had some Coors, but then as we started this, I was walking to my hotel room and I am empty-handed right now.
you can't drink Coors while driving home and walking into your hotel room?
No, I think
Good
it's fun.
choice.
Thanks a lot. Been
You
loud.
and Rasheed Rice are going to be on different levels right now, okay? All right. On that, let's go to Burns's 201.
Burns has got the 201.
Burns currently has the 201,
All right, Burnsy.
and he took
Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks at the 105.
I don't think he's mad if he's got AD Mitchell chilling here.
Probably not.
So I was going to say at this point, he could take best available. He's got a good team. He's got Jalen Hurts. He's got Dalton Schultz. He's got Cole Kmet. He's got good wideouts. He covered a little bit of his running back need with Jonathan Brooks. So you guys like Adonai Mitchell? Adonai Mitchell
too? Yeah. I either like Mitchell or Pearsall, to be honest. Pearsall in the first round. He's down there a little bit.
Xavier Legette would be the other one I'd talk about.
Yeah.
Legette and Pearsall were both first rounders. Adonai Mitchell was not. A lot of people had Adonai Mitchell higher on their grading scales and all the other fun nonsense before the draft, and he fell, and the other two went up. So I'm just nervous what Indy's going to be passing volume. But you could say the same thing about Carolina and then Pearsall being stuck.
Yeah.
If it's me, I think I'm taking Pearsall. The Niners seemed like that was their guy right away. There's been talks about either Debo or Ayuk getting traded. I think the Niners took a guy that they felt like could be a future very viable option for them. So I'm taking Pearsall.
And Burnsy could take a 6 or 8 week adjustment until he needs Pearsall.
Yeah.
Or a year.
I still lean Mitchell, but it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see these guys all go here in the next 3 picks. So
yeah,
it's going to be preference at that point.
All right. So I gave him Ricky Pearsall. So then we go to me at the 202.
Is it tight end time now, Ty?
I said, Ty, I made sure to lobby for Pearsall just so that you couldn't take him and you'd see a Niner go to someone else.
That's fair. All right. So what do you guys like for me right here?
You like Sano.
I like who?
Ben Sano, Sanat, whatever his
Oh,
name is.
Ben Sinat. Yes, yes. Sino.
Tight end. It feels a
Yep.
bit early to take him. Tywin's your next pick.
Third
304.
round.
Okay.
Maybe
All right.
maybe a roll of the dice to get him there because he is tight end too. So if somebody else feels like they need a tight end, they might grab him here in the second round. But 202 feels early to take him. That said, Ty's grabbed 2 wide receivers already. So Corum, I don't know what playing time is going to be like on the Rams. I do feel like this is a running back pick here. Corum or Wright.
I think it is, but I also see Tide, and I know this is so counterintuitive, but just saying taking best available,
Yeah.
which is, I
Well, we
mean,
know it won't be a quarterback because he's got Stroud and Mahomes already.
like, I'm not upset if I'm walking out with taking shots on Coleman and Mitchell
Yeah.
at
If you
the
come out of this draft, if you win the championship and then add Marvin Harrison Jr., Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, fuck man.
you're you're pretty happy with that.
I would assume so.
I mean, if I were to say, okay, you're getting Marvin Harrison and a wide receiver in Corum, you're probably not feeling as good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say it wouldn't be quorum, but it would probably I
It'd
would
be the
lean running
running
back at this point.
Sure.
So if that changes your mind at all on what you want to draft for me, or you give me Adonai Mitchell.
I, it's just the problem is this next run, and hopefully I'm not deflating anybody's draft strategy now. This next run of running backs, they all went to spots that already have running backs, if not multiple. So it, that's why I'm taking Mitchell right here. But sure, you could take Wright in Miami, but they also have Mostert and A-Chain. You've got Braylon Allen going to the Jets, which I personally like Braylon. He might be the goal line back there and keep Brees, feeling good. Other than that, you've got Lloyd in Green Bay. You've got what's his name, Estime in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
It it's just splitting hairs at those points, and I still feel a lot better walking away with Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree.
I will give
I
myself.
know it. I think you're going to make a trade here, is what I'm saying, and get value because if this happens, you've got a lot to work with for wide receiver needy teams.
Maybe Ty just takes Brooks at the 101 and then takes the receivers in these back picks and feels better about where he ends up overall.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's where I'm going.
I mean, it's an option.
You're right. So Paul is up at the 203. Paul currently took Roma Dunze. And that was it in the first round, right?
Yep. Paul could really use a running back. He's got some young, good receivers on his team. He's got London, he's got JSN, he's got a Dunze now. I think wide receiver is Paul's best spot right now. Running back could use some help. So I don't know how much Paul needs to try to snag the guy who's going to contribute right away versus best talent for whenever Paul's team eventually is good. What do you guys think?
So Paul has the 203 and 204.
Oh yeah, good
And then the
call.
six, and then the 6 and the 7. So
I think
For the
Nolan is
next
in
5.
Nolan's in between him. So I personally, I know that you guys said that he's got Jordan Love, whatever, and he's got quarterbacks. But I think he's taken, if Drake May's here and or JJ McCarthy is here, whoever he likes, I think at some point in these next 4, he takes one of them.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting until the 6 or 7 if I'm Paul.
Yeah. Is
I'm
Nolan gonna take a quarterback? He's got Kyler. Who else does he have right now?
I don't.
He's got Kyler and then Derek Carr, Sam Darnold.
So Nolan could use one at 5, but maybe
I
Paul
don't.
doesn't have a strong opinion between May or McCarthy or, whoever he might want. So let Nolan make that decision for him and take the other guys that you're interested in early.
Yep. I
Right.
think
I'm
this
just
is Paul takes Leggett and then takes whichever running back he likes best. And then he
Yeah.
sees what happens in the 205. And then he either goes another shot at running back and then a quarterback.
yeah, I am okay with giving him Leggett and a running back here.
Let's do it.
Because I'm just forecasting Paul has nobody at running back. So I think
Yeah, it's rough.
this is where he just starts throwing darts at running backs, but you grab Leggett because he's got value there.
Yeah, if
I'm
he can
just
get Quorum and Wright and Leggett and a quarterback here,
Yeah.
that's a solid group of people.
so I'm just gonna plug in Corum right there for the
That's
sake
fine.
of plugging in
Sure.
a running back. He could take one of the others. So then you come to Nolan. And Nolan
Moves this pick for
did not have a pick in the first.
No.
So he's sitting on his first pick. I don't know. He's got Swift and Jones, and then really J.K. Dobbins has to come back.
Yeah.
He's
Swift and
got
Jones are
decent,
probably going to be a good couple of backs this year, but looking a couple of years down the line, you're going to be hurting. So that's probably where he's looking right now.
he's got DJ Moore, Waddle, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf,
Yeah, I think he feels good.
Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna throw some out here. Although I don't know. I don't see him on your little toggle sheet there, Ty, but I could see Nolan. I don't like Troy Franklin's situation. I think maybe the next guy is Rome Wilson in Pittsburgh.
Roman Wilson.
Yep.
Yep.
Rome Wilson.
And then
I could see
and then
that
on
being
here is Jalen
or
Polk,
Polk
Malachi
or Polk.
Corley.
I think he maybe is grabbing one of those guys that he feels better about. Although he got a ton of wide receivers in the offseason, for some reason he's still trying to buy more. So I don't know. If you're not feeling great about any of these running backs that are stuck behind other committee situations, go grab one of those wide receivers. And he's got Laporta, so he sure as shit doesn't need to go tight end.
Yeah.
I'm not sold that he's not taking a quarterback here.
Yeah.
He could very well.
Yeah. I wouldn't fault him for doing it. I think running back is a bigger need, but I mean, looking at talent and situation wise, in a vacuum, would I rather have Jalen Wright or Drake May? Give me Drake May 10 times out of 10. So if he feels better about that, just in terms of making sure that he gets a guy who's got talent and isn't gonna, fizzle out, take Drake May.
And Kyler Murray's not the healthiest, doesn't have the best track record of staying on the field.
Yeah.
And after that, you're sitting on Derek Carr, Sam Darnold.
And it's a new coaching staff since, since Kingsbury. So, if they get in and they don't win games, trade McCarthy and start all over and bring in the guy that they want. It's not like the Bears have never done that.
So I'm not sold that he's not taking quarterback if JJ and or May are still sitting here.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where, again, going back to Paul 2 picks ago, knowing that there's May and JJ, I still agree with what Paul did, knowing that Nolan can't take both of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
So are
let's-
you good with me giving him as much as I
Yeah.
don't know that he's going to take one? I think that it might be best value with what Kyler is.
Yeah. Give Nolan May and then give Paul JJ McCarthy for his next pick, and then we can talk about Paul's last pick of this batch.
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
All right, so May off the board, McCarthy off the board. And then Paul comes up. He has Rome, Xavier Legette, Blake Corum, JJ McCarthy. I personally think with the fact that he's got Rome and Xavier Legette, at this point, it's either Troy Franklin's and or Roman Wilson, Jalen Polk. I honestly think that Paul could take another shot at one of these running backs.
I think you
I
should.
know that you guys aren't right. They're in committees.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that
Paul just needs lottery tickets that could hit for him at
Yep.
running back at this point. So take as many as you can that makes sense.
I'm taking Lloyd here. If there's a
Interesting.
situation I like best, it's Lloyd. You've got technically Jacobs is coming off an injury. He's a slightly older back. We've seen AJ Dillon is terrible. And they've got Emmanuel Wilson. So, and they correct me if I'm wrong. I think Lloyd went in the 3rd round.
yeah, I think so.
Probably.
So I think that might be your clearest path to the field versus A-Chain, Mostert in Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
Correct. He
Mostert's
was-
32 and A-Chain had some injuries last year, so I could see Wright having that path.
Yep, I can
You
too.
know, Packers have Jacobs and Dillon. I think there's a way forward for both of them that involves a bit of age and a bit of injury. I think for me, it just comes down to which talent you like better.
All right, so let's move on. Jer Fry is back up at the 208. So they currently took
107, 109, 110. Benson, Worthy, Caleb.
they didn't
Yep,
have
that's exactly what it is. Yep. Yep.
so
So-
Benson, Worthy, and Caleb. So they've got one of a little bit of everything at this point.
Yeah.
So we just said they need wide receivers.
Yep.
So you said they have the 208 and 9? Or what'd you say?
Just 208.
Just the
They-
208.
They don't pick again until 311.
Okay, my bad. I think you go Franklin or Wilson.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Ty, pick your favorite.
We'll just give them top on the board. I don't give away my secrets.
Tried to get him.
Yeah, got me. I don't pick anywhere near this anyway, so it's fine.
Until you trade back out of your 202.
All right, so the 209, we are back to Boyer and Bagwell, which took at the 104 and 108. So they have Brian Thomas and Lad McConkey right now.
So give them right. They've got the rest of the Miami backfield, so they're probably
just give 'em
thrilled if
right.
he falls to them.
That's what I was going to say. They're sitting
Yeah.
on all those guys anyway.
Yep, that makes the most sense. We didn't even plan it that way.
Sure didn't. All right, then we go to the 210. Andy's on the clock.
That's
and this
me.
is Andy's second pick.
They already snagged Neighbors. I could use a running back, but
You're not taking Braylon Allen.
You're not taking. Yeah.
yeah,
Ray Davis in Buffalo.
yeah, probably not. I think no, you know what? I would take
Audric
Audric.
Estime.
Yeah,
Because
lock it in. Lock it
Yeah.
in.
You have Jamal Williams, right?
Javante.
Yeah, but,
Or Javante.
Yeah.
yeah, but you
Just
don't have
sleep better at night.
You don't have Jaleel, Sarah's cousin McLaughlin.
I don't have Sarah McLaughlin's dead puppy. No.
Yeah, I was gonna get to Estime because once I started thinking you had Williams, I was like, he's taking his handcuff right here.
Yep.
But you're not mad about that at the 210.
No. And I mean, looking at the receivers on the board, I like Polk, but if I got Neighbors and I've still got Cup and Allen and Tyreek, I've got plenty in that department. So I want to make sure that I have the Denver running back locked in for the next couple of years. And I don't know that that's great production, but at least I've got a spot.
Yep. So then we go to 211, which is back to Andrew, and then we got Nolan at the 12. So at the 11, Andrew took a pick at the
Bowers.
6, which was Bowers. His other team needs were probably running back.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably
Best
best available.
available.
His team's pretty good at adding Bowers to it.
I
I think
Roman
need-wise is
Wilson.
a little bit more running back, but it's not a big enough need that I would get away from who your favorite player is.
Roman Wilson and Jalen Polk, I like both of them. Jalen Polk, it could be the New England's top wide receiver. They've got Drake May now. Not that that offense has ever been big on passing the ball and producing huge wide receivers, but Jalen Polk's a good wide receiver. I like him. I like Malachi Corley as well. If you want me to tell you who I like at this point,
He's not at the top, Ty.
I know and he'd be real close to my next pick at the 304 or whatever. So, but I do like Malachi Corley as well, playing across from Garrett Wilson, because they could definitely use another wide receiver there. So honestly, any of those I'd be down with, but he's going to take a wide receiver here, right?
Yeah, probably. I think the talent's better at receiver here, so
And thoughts, Mattoon? Which one you like?
I mean, Polk's got I'll say the better status and capital in New England.
Rookie
But,
quarterback.
yeah.
but I hate any wide receiver going to New England.
Yeah,
I
but
would
Pittsburgh's not going to be any better.
They don't have any other wide receivers besides Pickens, so I like Roman a lot better.
Okay, I'm good giving him Roman Wilson.
I just find me a halfway decent wide receiver coming out of New England for fantasy production in the last 10 years.
Listen, they got a new regime over there. Come on.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll give him Roman Wilson. Then you go to Nolan at the 12. He took a pick at the 205, took Drake May. Now he sits at the 212. So at this point, I think he's in the same boat that Andrew was just in. Grab best wide receiver. Does he have
probably
another specific team need here that we got to worry about? Running back is his team need.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm Ray Davis, maybe, if he wants to take a shot. Bucky Irvin in Tampa, Shipley in Philly.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a reach to take a running back here. But maybe.
Yeah. I think he's either trading back to get a running back and or he takes I personally think he might go Malachi Corley over Jalen Polk here.
Fair enough. Let's finish the draft.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, we'll give him Malachi Corley. I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't take Ray Davis, but you know what? That's all right too. All right, so that's what you're looking at. A lot of team need, a lot of best available. I could see a lot of movement happening in some of these too, based on loot, not loving landing spots, not loving grabbing running backs there. So we'll kind of see what happens. But there's where we're at. There's your first 2 rounds. I appreciate you guys jumping on that with me. Anything specific you guys want to talk about from that, from the off season, from trades?
I mean, I think it's worth just pointing out. I don't think we need to try to put players anywhere, but Undy didn't pick in that first 2 rounds. He's got the 302. Mattoon's got the 402, and Matt also didn't pick in those first 2 rounds. He's got the 306 as his first pick. So a couple of guys we didn't talk too much about that are just light on picks this year.
Yep, and Kelly only had the 1 in the first round.
Yep, he didn't pick again till the end of the 4th.
Yep.
So yeah, and Matt's another one, not as dire of a situation as Colin Kelly with no taxi players right now and only picking 3, but Matt's got 3 taxi players, and he's picking 3 guys, 306, 406, 506. So his taxi's going to be pretty weak, even if it is going to be full. So who knows?
Yep. We will come at you guys with some power rankings and post draft analysis. Once we get through this slow draft and have a little bit of time to digest what happens. But other than that, Mattoon, any last words?
Just want to say, good luck, y'all. May the odds be forever at your favor.
Good luck to
You're
the
just-
people not in my division, specifically not Lisak.
Just wait till you see what I'm about to do with this 402.
That's right. You're going to draft something at some point.
Trade it to Nolan for Waddle.
That'd be great.
All right. On all this nonsense, I think we've got to get out of here. Don't waste all these people's times. All right. We appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you got something useful out of this 2-round rookie mock. And if not, also great. Glad you guys were here. If you're still here, hit the buttons, do the things. Otherwise, we will trash talk you throughout the draft. We're out.